Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's grill some skewers today. First, I want to be very clear that I'm not a chef, nor a food vlogger. There are also many ways to cook skewers in my hometown region alone. This is just one way I know. My cousin that's been running restaurants taught me this recipe. I can't claim that I've mastered it, but I've made this a few times for family and friends, and it's been well praised, so I haven't had the need to try other recipes. Prep work is straightforward. First, boil some water. About this much. After boiling, remember to turn off the heat completely right away. Then get some Sichuan peppercorns into a bowl, about a handful. That also depends on how much meat you're preparing. Pour the boiling water into the bowl. Set this hot water aside and let it cool down to lukewarm temperature. Now is a good time to cut meat while waiting for the peppercorn water to cool down. This lamb leg is from Costco. It's about 5+ pounds, so just under 2.5 kilos. I'm an amateur at butchering meat, but this is what I do. Slice along the membrane between different muscle groups to separate them. This way, the meat won't fall apart easily when chopped into pieces later. Then cut each muscle group into strips with the grain. Cross-cut strips into pieces thicker but shorter than a domino, roughly 3/4 by 3/4 by 1 inch. It doesn't take long to process 5 pounds of meat. Yes, this is sped up. It took me about 10 minutes in real life. After cutting lamb, let's move on to beef, which is treated the same way. Even though this piece is only USDA choice grade, there's a good amount of marbling in it, so it should render a good texture and flavor when grilled. This piece of beef weighs at least 7 to 8 pounds, roughly 3.5 kilos. Cutting beef also took me about 10 minutes. Lamb and beef together weigh around 13 pounds, which should be plenty for 8 people. With all the meat cut, let's move on to the next step. A fist-sized onion. Chop off both ends. Peel. Cut into strips. It doesn't have to be very skinny, around 1/4 inch is good. Then some scallions. Cut off the roots first. A quick wash since there is some white residue on it. Take out the dried leaf sections. Slice a couple of times lengthwise. Cut into inch-long strips. Place scallion strips in a mixing bowl and sprinkle some salt. It doesn't need to be a lot since it's only for the scallions, not meat. Squeeze and flip to fully blend salt and scallions. Salt will dehydrate scallions, and that's what we need. Soon, scallion juice will come out and it becomes slimy, similar to hand soap consistency. After all scallions become soft but not yet mushy, set it aside. Now massage onion strips. Same procedure, sprinkle some salt. My portion of onion is bigger, so I have to use both hands to keep everything in the bowl. Now is the most critical and exhausting part. Add some scallion and onion strips into meat. Massage and mix well. This is from my experience. Spread all fingers as I move my hand down, close all fingers to form a fist, and let meat slip out of grasp. It doesn't take too much effort, yet is sufficient and yields a better result. Peppercorn water shouldn't be hot to the touch now. Pour half in. Hand strain peppercorns out. It's not the end of the world if some falls into the pot. Following the same technique, massage the meat. The purpose of these steps is to remove the bloody and gamey taste. Usually there should be ginger processed the same way with scallions, but I'm allergic to ginger, so I have to skip that. This is the physically demanding part I mentioned earlier. We've added quite some liquid in, but after working on it for a bit, you will find there's no liquid in meat, or in the pot I should say. So where did all the liquid go? It's all got incorporated into the meat. So after all the onion and scallion juice and peppercorn water got into the meat, bloody and gamey taste will be reduced by a lot, if not eliminated. In my hometown region, at least in my cousin's recipe, we use a pear-flavored soda for the marinade. However, that's hard to find in the US. My cousin said, just use Sprite, it does the same thing. We don't have to pour a lot each time, about 3 to 4 ounces per batch. Continue massaging the meat with the same technique. When we first pour the Sprite in, it may seem like a lot. After working on it for a while, the Sprite will be slowly absorbed into the meat. I haven't investigated what soda is doing in marinating, but my best guess is, firstly, is to add more moisture to the meat, so it won't dry out easily when grilled. Secondly is to add some sugar into the meat, like the injection technique in American barbecue. This added sugar will caramelize when grilled, adding another layer of flavor. Adding Sprite in several batches. After a while, we can push the meat to the side of the pot. If there isn't any Sprite on the bottom of the pot, add a little more. Then repeat the process. It took me about 12 minutes to finish this pot of meat. If you have a stand mixer at home, put on the dough hook and let the machine work. It should be much faster. Push the meat to the edge of the pot. If there's liquid slowly seeping out of the bottom of the meat pile, that means it's well hydrated and can't take anymore. That's all the massaging needed. Beef is processed in the same way as lamb. First put in the 2 onion strips, mix well, then pour the remaining peppercorn water. I use up the rest of it. After the peppercorn water is all absorbed, add Sprite. Rinse and repeat. Added Sprite in about 3 batches. Probably 12 ounce, maybe slightly above. After the beef is also processed, cover with plastic wrap and rest in fridge overnight. My guests are coming on Sunday, so I'm doing all the prep work on Saturday. A day in advance allows a good amount of slack, so I don't have to feel rushed. If your schedule doesn't allow this much of prep time, the meat doesn't have to rest overnight, but still give it at least 30 to 40 minutes before putting on sticks to cook. It's Sunday morning now, and I'm preparing a cold dish. It's a cucumber salad dressed with hot chili oil, vinegar, sesame seed, and sesame oil. This cutting board is for ready-to-eat food. Wash cucumbers, chop off both ends, bash with the side of my kitchen knife, cut into sections, and transfer it into a mixing bowl. Sprinkle some salt and toss a few times. Cover it with plastic wrap and put it in fridge. I was recording some video clips while testing a few lenses, and I left my camera info overlay on HDMI output. On Sunday, I didn't check the settings before recording. Therefore, the interface overlay was also recorded. A lot of the ingredients were used up that day, so there's no way to reshoot these clips. Please bear with me on this. By the way, you can see my settings for my videos. If you notice something not ideal, please let me know in the comment down below, and I can improve my video quality in future recordings. When it comes down to assembling skewers, I prefer standing since it makes it easier to push the stick through. To me, it takes more effort to do while seated. I usually put the pot at a slightly lower spot. This way, when I push skewer sticks through meat, the movement has a slightly downwards direction. That makes it easier. You probably noticed the meat pieces are quite chunky. My workflow is pick up a piece, pinch the meat between my left thumb and forefingers, make it slightly flat. When I push the stick in with my right hand, with elbow tucked in, fingers in my left hand can feel where the tip of the stick is. When it's steering off track, I can adjust the angle of my left hand to guide the stick out to the other side. If you don't pinch the piece because you fear of the sharp tip of the stick, you don't really know where the tip is because you can feel the tip. You are more likely to stick it to your fingers. How much meat per skewer is actually a bit particular. The length of my skewers is based on the width of my grill. You don't need too much of the stick exposed. Around 3/4 to an inch is fine. If you leave too much of the stick out on the front, there's less room for your hands to hold. Your hands may get toasty when grilling. Or if you don't leave enough on the front, skewers may fall into the grill and consequently get burned. It doesn't take long for me to finish 5 pounds of lamb. Of course, this is sped up. Another reason I cut meat into large pieces is to make the assembly part faster. When I'm making skewers, I usually put on some podcasts or some videos with information or knowledge, or just music. It can also be a relaxing moment with a cold beer. Beef skewers are assembled the same way. I'm not going to drag you through it again. This style of grill is very good for skewers because it's not very wide front to back. Let me briefly talk about my process of grilling. Skewers onto the grill, arranged one next to another, but not too squeezed together or too far apart. Sprinkle only cumin powder at this point, no salt. Wait until the bottom is browned, turn over, then sprinkle cumin powder on the top side. Also chili powder if nobody is against it, but always ask first to be sure. Wait until the bottom side is also nicely browned. By this time, fat should be nicely rendered. Sprinkle some salt, whole sesame seeds and cumin seeds. These two seeds should be added when skewers are about 80% there, so they won't get charred too much. Before serving, taste to check the salt level since I'm not a pro. That also enhances the appetite of my hungry guests. Believe it or not, this was recorded in late October and the sun was still bright and hot in Southern California. I set up a canopy in my driveway to enjoy the wonderful weather. Unfortunately, one canopy leg got loose and it collapsed because of 2 seconds of mild strength wind. And then the wind was gone, but it took the first batch of skewers with it. 20 ready-to-serve lamb skewers are wasted. Fortunately, the charcoal has already ashed over, so it didn't take long to get the fire ready again. Time for the next batch. It was at this moment I noticed I left the info overlay on HDMI output, so I turned off the overlay, but I didn't notice it was in photo mode, so there was no sound recorded. It came to me later, the point of this party is to host guests, and I should focus on that, so I didn't record any more footage. Maybe eventful in the wrong way, but I hope this is interesting to you. I'm not teaching how to grill skewers. I'm only sharing my experience and process. If you may be interested in other contents I create, please also check out my woodworking channel and design and 3D modeling channel. Links are in the video description and side cards. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share if you want to see more.